don't care if you're red, green, purple or not. You gotta like this styling on this tractor. If you don't think that's just cool, I don't care who you are, that's just cool. Look at that. Comes right in here, look at that. Hey guys, good morning. Well, we're on our way, or at least I'm on my way. I gotta go to Dane's, and then we're gonna get in the car, in his car, and drive to Fargo. Then we get on the plane there at 12:30. Yeah, so we'll see you in a bit. Well, look who it is.
Looky there.
We're on our way to the airport, just leaving Greenbush. We're about a half an hour behind.
Yeah, that's being modest.
So,
think we could beat him?
oh yeah, he's way far away. Dane put jet fuel in this morning before we left.
A little bit of nitro.
Well, hopefully we make it. We'll
fly like a bird.
I know there's been a lot of planes crashing lately, so we'll see what happens.
We'll ride on the outside.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we'll see you in a bit.
Wow, first pit stop. We're looking for homeless people under the bridge. But really it's Mark, he's got to pee.
Holy f***, here's another car coming.
Don't worry about the cars, eh? There's two ladies too, eh? They're smiling and waving. I bet they said the same thing too. Must be pretty cold out.
I don't want to be dribbling in my pants. Oh, you. How many years has it been, Dane?
Since what?
You flown last.
Oh. We just had our anniversary too. What the heck?
I thought you said it was like 20 years.
20 something,
No.
20 or 21.
Are you scared?
No. No, I'd ride on the wing.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to be boarding here in a bit. We got first class here.
Sitting next to Vanna White.
Whatever.
Aftershave. Kind of smells like soap.
Dane, good cheer.
Yeah.
See you on the ground. Okay, Dane.
Yeah. We're getting it. Look at.
Do you want to tell him, or do I have to tell him? Huh?
Yeah, I probably don't have the information correct.
So anyway, our flight came in late, a little late, just a few minutes, not just.
It wasn't our fault.
No, but anyway, it turned out we had to reschedule or rebook. We had to rebook our flight. Well, long story short,
we got the
we didn't get to the rebooking in time. They had 3 seats left, and some gals beat us to it. So now they give us a new gate to go out of on the other side of the airport. So we go over there, and we're like, well, we better check in, make sure this shit's right. And they look at it, oh no, that ain't the right gate.
Yeah. They change it, she says.
Yeah, they
change it again.
They changed it. Oh no, it's back at the gate you guys were at practically.
And it's 3/4 of a mile from one end to the other.
Yeah.
This is the second time now.
Well, how is a guy supposed to stay fat if you have to walk across the Chicago airport 3 times?
It's winter time. Come on.
Jeez. Well, We'll make it, won't we, Dane?
I think so. We'll just have to get in the belly of the airplane.
Yep. There we go. I should just wave at this guy. I think we've walked by him 3 times.
Yeah.
So, okay, see ya. Well, we made it all the way to G8. G8's a long ways away from, what was the other one? L? Yeah, so if you can do the alphabet.
Especially after 2 hot dogs. And
Yeah,
a beer.
2 Chicago hot dogs. Don't ask me what that cost.
I should have kept the receipt. Beer, we had 1 beer was $9.95. Airport beer.
Airport beer, yeah.
10A is my seat.
Oh, I'm 9A. Didn't I say 9A?
Well, hopefully I sit by Wanda.
Yeah, 9A. Shit. I gotta sit next to you. Well, there's the plane. Just sitting there. It's waiting. So we don't know if that's... We're still at the right gate. She said they still might move us. So, we'll see. All right. We're here.
We're there.
We're there in Louisville. Something like that. Sorry guys, can't talk. Us northern guys can't say Louisville. Is it Louisville? Louisville? Anyway, waiting for bags. Getting back into cattle, huh, Daner?
Yeah. Just dreaming. I wish I had one of these when I had no.
All right. Well, we just got here. We're gonna try to get our bearings and download the app to see where everything's at, and then go and see what's what.
It's only 8 miles square in here.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
Okay, we're in the Norwood booth. Here's the new quick till coulter. So if you guys do vertical till in the spring, which we do, this is definitely interesting. This thing is, she nice.
Real nice.
Looks like they're kind of offset a little, or got a little bit of a pitch to them too. Well, that's pretty cool. Heavy harrow in the back. And rolling baskets. Huh. Well, that's interesting. We'll have to see if we can get some more information on this thing. Kind of found something here cool. Here we are.
Cool.
We made her on the big show. So we're gonna go and see some, what do you want to call it, locals?
Yeah.
We got a local company that's,
Yep.
well, yeah, we got 2 local companies that are here. We got Central Boiler, and then we got Matrax, which are quite ironically brothers.
Yep.
So they're two brothers that have 2 different companies in the Northland, and so we're gonna swing by the Matrax booth and see if we can find Danielle. She's a hoot. Well, we're leaving building 1. We're gonna go over here to building number 2, and there's an upstairs too. So yeah, its place is like huge, 33 acres of stuff. Crazy. All right, made it to the next building here. .360 rain. Borderview Farms uses that. Actually got to meet him last night. We ended up in the same establishment, I'll say. I was telling him we met Borderview Farms last night at the same establishment we went to.
Oh, sure.
So that was kind of fun. So nice meeting him. But yeah, let's keep looking. Dane, what's the same you can take the cattle off the farm, but you can't take the cattleman, take the cattle out of the guy or something like that. Looking at cattle chutes.
Oh, that would be slick. The one I got's got a big lever, and you got to reach up there and pull down on the damn thing and try to get it shut. It binds up and freezes up. This is real nice. This is top shelf here. Rubber mat, there's no slip.
We're not getting cows.
Yeah, Steve's on my side. We gotta consider this, Steve. Should have had.
I don't even know what to say to that.
We should have had Steve with us. He'd be like, yeah, we'll get 2.
I don't mind cows when they're out on pasture. I gotta get Dane out of here before we buy a squeeze chute. But you know what comes after a squeeze chute? Them hairy things with legs.
What?
Them four-legged
Canadian girls or what?
Four-legged critters. Oh, there's a mover. We're thinking of building a mover for our that conveyor. You know, you see us pushing on it with the snow plow and stuff. We're gonna build our own mover is what we're planning.
I said ours will be extra simple.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of these movers and it's like, oh my gosh, what way over-engineered. Pretty easy. All you gotta do is build a platform, hook a cylinder up to an H-brace, orbit motor on the drive. Not a lot to it. Okay, we're gonna keep looking here before we get too distracted. Uh-oh. Fuel trailer next. I haven't heard of these guys. Boss? Nice trailer. Oh, they got a little light. Yeah, just like all them other fuel trailers. My biggest thing is you can't hold enough tools. But I guess this would help. But you still can't hold enough tools. I don't know. I have a hard time going away from our service truck that has, what, 300 and some gallons, 400 gallons of fuel, and everything we need. Okay, we're gonna keep looking. Uh-oh, Dane's dealing. Well, we went to the other end of the world, and we found him. Hey.
Hi.
I told you we'd find her.
We're here.
Yeah, we had to go to the other end of the world to find you guys.
Welcome to the farm show, where all your dreams come true.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Okay, I'm with my friend Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle Bufflin with Matt Tracks. Welcome to the National Farm Show.
Yep. She's from Roseau.
Yes, I am. Well, actually, I grew up in Greenbush. I grew up in God's country.
Yep, little Greenbush girl, yeah. So anyway, we're going to walk you through the booth here, and we're going to kind of just show you what they got. It's kind of some cool stuff you don't really see every day. Like, I mean, you guys can see tractors and stuff like that, but I mean, come on, tracks are cool, right? And we run tracks on just about everything. So let's check it out.
All right, so for my farm friends, the ones that get to mow, I am the mower in my family. So this is a zero turn. This is a Spartan that we're showing it on. But if you look over here, you can imagine it on any of your zero turn machines. These tracks are called a zero turn. They are still in pre-production and planning, so don't come for me when you want to know the price. We haven't priced them out just yet, but I mean, they're going to make your mowing so much easier, especially when you're really perfecting that 3-point conversion with your mow job, instead of like me, where I just like to slam the zero turn as fast as I can and rut up the yard.
So on these particular tracks here,
Yes.
I don't think it's a very hard installation.
No, if you can change out a tire, you can change out a track. It's literally only 4 bolt-ons. It's so easy. You're going to be able to change that out within 30 minutes. Unless you're really bad at your job.
Should we go over and check out the pickup?
So let's go see it. So our display is a GMC Canyon. We have road grade tracks on them. These tracks right now, this XP1, they are not ready for wholesale yet. We're not selling them. They're still in the planning and pre-production era, but Mr. Brazier himself has actually drove this specific track to and from work multiple times.
So these tracks aren't in production quite yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so there's still some S&D?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Or R&D?
Yeah, we're still in research and development
R&D,
there.
okay.
I mean, maybe S&D too, whatever S is studying and developing. There we go. We'll do that. But yeah, so they're still in production, but you can, right over here, that is the actual track that you would put on a pickup like this.
Right.
And let's say you've got a board.
Them have been around for a long time.
Yes, and those are amazing.
Right, but we want to look at these a little bit more.
We've got the best suspension. Again, if you can change a tire, you can change a track. You could have tracks on any of your rigs within an hour.
Okay, easy to change, easy to put on. So let's get a little closer look. Oh yeah.
So this is definitely a top attraction besides the zero-turn mower. People love to see this and want to know how do they get those on their vehicles. And the thing with Mat Tracks is we don't mass assemble anything. We literally custom build these to what you need them to be.
Oh really? So
And
it's not like you got a whole bunch of them sitting on the shelf?
no, not at all. They're all going to come fresh, and our sales guys will know exactly what you need. And I mean, they'll ask you a lot of questions, but we don't want to sell you something just for fun. We want to sell it to you so that you can use it every day in the conditions that you need to use it
Right,
for.
so they'll kind of find out what applications you want to use your rig in, and then they'll kind of customize your setup.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Well, let's take a walk around. Okay, and then over here, this is the standard, or not standard, I don't want to say standard, but this is the proven track. This is the proven conversion kit that they've had for many, many, many years. Obviously updates, I'm assuming, but
That's what you need,
yeah.
man.
Well, I want to thank Danielle and Mat Tracks for having us here and showing us kind of around.
Thank you guys so much for stopping at our booth. And for anybody watching, if you haven't been to the Louisville National Farm Show, get here next year. You don't want to miss it. The best of the best are only here.
Well, when I want to rock steady, yeah, I know I got to get ready.
Well, we're at the Schulte booth. We'll show you guys a little bit about Schulte stuff. Stuff's built like a tank. But here's a rock picker. Dane, you were drooling over the rock picker.
Just a little.
Oh, yeah.
It's an awful job, but if you can have the right equipment to do it, then it would be just fine.
Just too bad they weren't worth anything, like picking sugar beets or something.
Yeah, right. Well,
know?
they're worth something. It's just not to everybody.
Yeah, it's quite a machine here. Holy buckets. Well, if you like picking rock, that's the machine for you. How's your ice cream?
It'll make a turd.
Yeah. Well, we came to Dane's favorite place. Right here, right, Dane?
Yeah.
Home of John Deere. It's the new 7800. Seen one, you seen them all. Dane and I walked around it yesterday. What do you think?
It's pretty much the same as the 780. A few little things that are different or upgraded.
Right.
Pretty much the same.
Right. All right, we made our way down to the bottom here where they have the tractors on the for the pull, and Daner's drooling. Dane, you gotta wipe your lips. What do you think?
I think we should have one.
Just one?
Two or three, I guess.
Oh, you guys gotta check this out, huh? Look at this. Detail. Amazing. Yep, pretty cool. A lot of nice stuff here. Pretty neat. Very, very cool. Dane, is this your favorite over here? Do we want to show them? Do you want to show them what your favorite is? Look at that. 830.
Real one like that is just not this long.
You think Dennis would like this?
A little bit.
Huh?
Probably too fast.
A little too. He'd idle it down.
Yeah. Look at that. They even got the old steering column.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
And the hammer. She's still a black dash too.
Is that what, nice?
That's real nice.
If you've never looked at one of these close, which I've never have, it's pretty neat to see all the detail that they've done to these things. Okay, here's a red one for you red folks.
Yeah, that's enough.
Super Rooster. So anyway, oh, look at these late model styling anyway. We better find Dane before he gets lost here. Dane, where's Dane at? Dane, where'd he go? You guys are gonna have to bear with me here. Oh, here's another. Ooh, 60-30. Look at this girl, huh?
I like that charcoal.
That charcoal is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Look at that. I don't know how many of them I want to show you because it's just like you've seen one, you kind of seen them all, but it's a lot of neat stuff here. Got trucks. Here's another red one for you guys. What's going through your head right now, Dan?
Gears.
A lot of gears? Squeaking? Are they squeaking?
Just they're getting there. Bearings starting to go out up there. Because
There's some engine for you. All right, we didn't forget you guys. We got a couple neighbors that run some Massies, so we'll show you what this is about. There's a Massey for you. What do you think? Not bad for a Massey, huh?
she's pretty. I like that.
That's a big engine right there, boys and girls. Camera's not doing it justice.
We should have just brought everybody with us.
Yeah, we could have brought you guys with. Anyway, there you go. Massey Ferguson's in the lineup. All right. Well, we're gonna head back to the guys at Superior Grain and check them out a little bit before we leave. Okay, these guys here we haven't stopped at yet. We stopped at everyone else. We're in the Sioux booth. What they have here is similar to the Sioux Cup, is these paddle sweeps. Now these came out probably what, 15 years ago or something like that, paddle sweeps in general, but we priced them back then and they were quite expensive, but now they're a little more reasonable. So guys, if you're thinking of pulling out the sweep, or let's say you have an unload that, you know, it's got a U-trough and the U-trough works just fine, but it's the part inside the bin that usually sucks, and that's the, you know, just the auger part. This is an option. We're looking at it. We have some unloads. The sweeps aren't really that great. A lot of labor. We all know Dane and I don't really like shoveling. Unless you do, maybe you do. But anyway, nice sweep here. What is neat is you can keep your existing gearbox that you have in your bin and hook it right up to this. Bolts right on. A universal paddle sweep for about any bin. So I talked to that guy right there, He's got some good hair, I tell you. Anyway, this sweep here is probably gonna run, I think they were saying, you know, $6,500 or something like that. Would put it in a 48-foot bin. So for $6,500 roughly, don't take this to your dealer, but that's gonna get you a paddle sweep. They did say, however, that it will be just a little slower than maybe certain auger sweeps, but overall, if you don't have to get in the bin, you just go in there a little bit, that's a win in my book. So yeah, and another thing is, have you guys ever noticed, like when you get your sweep going in there, you got like constantly kick it, keep going? This is pretty sweet. Got some weight there. If you're interested in the paddle sweep, might be worth checking out too. Just letting you know. Okay, so we got a demonstration here even for you guys. This is cool. Look at that.
It's our farm level economical solution.
Right.
That
Well,
provides
the guy doesn't want to spend $10,000 putting a sweep in it.
Correct.
I mean, a paddle sweep. We all like the situation of this.
Yep.
The safety aspect of it, that's a big deal. Like if a guy's got a bunch of hired people, which most people do, at least not everyone, I guess, or even yourself, you send someone in a bin, I mean, liability is...
Correct. Liability, the amount of time
Right.
they spend behind an auger sweep with a shovel cleaning up behind it.
Right, right.
Our product leaves kernels behind and not inches of material.
Right. So basically on a sweep like this, do you feel like you don't let it go around twice?
One time.
One time?
And then you'll leave a little bit around the edge, between the edge of the bin and a paddle sweep.
Yep.
You come back with a hand broom, real simple, run the sweep again, and that'll pull it to the middle. Whereas
Okay.
an auger would scatter that little bit of material.
Yep.
So, again, it's a true zero entry option for a farmer.
Nice, nice. And then so after you run around the second time, basically just light sweeping?
Not really, especially if you're going back into the same commodity. There's
Okay.
not a whole lot to be done. The bin's ready to be used again. You park it right in front of your sweeps, ready to go next time.
Nice, nice. Okay.
We
Well,
guarantee 'em.
man, that's pretty cool. I didn't know there was kind of an entry level or a farm style paddle sweep that wasn't extremely expensive.
Yep. So for the show, we got a promo going on right now. We try to keep it around $5,000 for a 48-foot diameter bin. We're $5,500, $6,000. We got 3 different drive options. If you want a dedicated electric motor, that's an option. If you want a hydraulic option to plug into the back of your tractor, we can do that as well.
Yep.
And if you've got an existing reclaim auger, we can do a 90-degree gearbox.
Right.
Up to that. And
That's that one we just looked at. So yeah, they do have a hydraulic option. You guys can find them online. They have a hydraulic option, and then they also have just the electric drive if you don't want to run off your own gearbox. But is there an advantage from going to electric drive versus running it off your gearbox? Is it faster?
Nope. Same.
Okay.
It's 2,200 bushels an hour.
Okay. So what would be the advantage or disadvantage, or why would a guy want to run electric motor?
You don't have a system that you could put a 90-degree gearbox on.
Okay.
Or we offer the hydraulic option if you're really parked out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have the electric to run all that, you can run it off your tractor.
So where you're maybe carrying a sweep into a larger, older bin.
Correct.
And then you could put this electric drive system in there, but yet use your same unload too.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yep.
We made all the components 50 pounds or less so that one person can carry it in and assemble it together.
Yep.
The idea is for one guy can put it together if he wants to.
Yep. And once you put it together, you put it in and leave
it in the bin.
Leave it in the bin. It's not, you don't pull it out again.
Correct.
So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna check out a bin monitoring system that Sue's got. A reason we haven't really explored the option at the show here is because every time I talk to anybody about bin monitoring, bin conditioning, it's like $10,000 a bin. And I'm like, I don't know, Dane, you got more money than I do, but
Hoarding it.
but anyway, we're just like, it's not interesting, right? I mean, when you got to spend that type of money. We were just talking, and the guys at Sue were like, hey, we got something that's kind of reasonable, so we're here to check it out.
Yep, so this is our Guardian system. We've got a full bin model replication. So all we've got is sensors here reading the temperature, moisture, humidity coming out of the fan. We've got sensors on the top of the grain bin. This is just a heater that we simulate temperature, which will run a sensor, turn the fan on. It's all app-based. We do require Wi-Fi at the grain bin site.
Yep.
But it's app-based. You set your parameters. So you set the ambient temperature is this. I want my fans to turn on or off.
Okay.
The humidity is this. I want the fans to turn on and off.
So what he's saying, this isn't just a bin monitoring system. It's bin monitoring and conditioning. But the neat thing is well, before they get bored with listening about this, what's the price on it?
So for a common size is 36 foot diameter bin, one fan, you're going to be about $1,000.
Okay. So $1,000, and so let's say for us now, let's say a 2-fan 48-foot bin. What are we looking at?
$1,500.
Okay,
or less.
Around 1,500, somewhere in there.
No subscription.
No subscription. Okay.
One time. And
Oh,
right
that's
now,
nice.
if you buy a bin from us, we throw one in for free.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And
So
that goes for Scafco bins or Sioux Steel bins.
okay.
So Scafco is our narrow corrugation line of bins. Sioux Steel is our wide corrugation line of bins.
Okay. So, and then with that, you get it's an app, I'm assuming.
Yes, app.
And then each bin has got its own system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And multiple bins can talk to multiple systems.
Okay. Anyway, you kind of get the gist of it here. We don't really want to bore you, and we're not trying to pitch anything to you. At least I'm not either. I just want you guys to know what's out there. Something, if you're not here walking around, you don't see this stuff. And if you are here, there's so much stuff you might miss it. So anyway, this system is relatively reasonable. And if you want more information on it, you can give Scott a call here. And he'll help you out or whatever, answer any questions you got, and go online. This isn't any advertisement plug or anything like that. We're not paid. I'm just letting you guys know because it's a reasonable deal. So with that, we'll see you later. Well, we're out in the mist,
Singing in the rain.
waiting for a buddy we just made, a viewer.
We're waiting for somebody to just pick our asses up. We're just sticking our thumb out.
Well, neither one of us are that good looking. We're gonna be in trouble. Oh!
Don't be filming me.
Hey! Look who it is, our new buddy.
I'm telling you. Gonna give you a ride.
Yeah.
All right, where are we going?
We're gonna go. Well, I don't know. Are we drinking?
The scooter.
Is you leaving the wife there, and
No,
we're going to the strip club or what?
Don't act like she won't come with us.
Woo! Yeah. Party time.
Let's see what we get into.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna see you in a little bit. Well, last day. We're leaving tonight on a jet plane. Right, Dane?
Yeah,
tonight on
do
a
we
jet
have
plane?
to leave?
Do we have to leave? Go do a little more visiting and head out to the airport. We stopped at Elmer's Hallmaster Grain Carts. We're here with DJ.
Hi,
How you doing, buddy?
good, how are you?
All right, so we're gonna get some info on their new cart, and they got kind of some cool features that you guys might want to know about. One of them is their new app they got, and it's called Connect. And what basically that is if you want to tell us, DJ, a little bit.
Yeah, we just do a quick rundown. So it's a proprietary, made by us. So if we ever have any issues, it's nice. We do all the maintenance and everything on the back end, so you're not making multiple calls.
Sure.
Right now we have the weight in the cart is what this is going to show. Your commodity, we can pick your field, and then we pick your truck, and then the bin that it's going to. Some of the cool things on here, we can put weights for it to automatically shut your gates at a certain weight, and we can set alarms so you know when you're halfway through, so you're not having to watch your scale. You can watch your truck you're loading into.
Okay. So which would be really nice for the young guys. Like I got an 11-year-old, and I'm kind of nervous about putting them on the grain cart just because it's like we have a 2,000 bushel grain cart similar to this, and it's like you can dump a lot of grain on the ground really fast, but I guess that's just trial and error. But this would kind of help with that.
Yeah, there's other things that mentioned in that younger generation or even new people just getting into farming. We can actually set a limit on our flow gate. We do 1,000 bushels a minute. It's kind of the high end, but we can actually slow that down if you're worried. We put a lot of redundancies. That's really what we focus on, is making this, no matter who your operator is, making it more consistent for your operation.
Easy to operate.
Yep.
So anyway, I'll just quick just synopsis this for you guys. So it's Wi-Fi based. You can have your field, so it's GPS located. So like when you pull into the field, you'll say, okay, this is what farm you're in. You select your commodity, and then you go into whatever truck, blah, 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 and it just keeps it all right here. So that's really cool. Another cool feature that we were talking about this a little bit before we invited you guys is the control. This control, it is sick. I mean, it's pretty cool. Anyway, you want to show us a little?
Yeah,
DJ?
we were talking about maybe inexperienced operators, and so what we've done is we just made this a double tap feature.
Look at that. Hit her twice, and off she goes. No extra hydraulics, nothing like that.
You'll also notice our soft landing once we get to the top.
Yeah.
So we actually tell the hydraulics and we calibrate where it's going to be at, and that knows.
Oh, nice,
And then-
nice. And then I'm gonna play with it here even.
Yep.
So guys, here you go. Look at this. Here's the joystick here. Look at that. That is cool. That is cool. All I'm doing is I'm just doing this, and it's so responsive. It's like a video game. But anyway, and then you just double tap right here, DJ. The bottom one? Oh, that's for folding. Okay. Look at that. Just double tap and off it goes. Stephanie would, I think Steph would like this. Stephanie's my sister. I think she'd like it. Well, I'm gonna grab my beer. You guys don't get any. And then we're gonna go talk to the other guy about the actual cart itself.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us here. So just touch on maybe 2 or 3 of the really high level points of the Hallmaster grain cart. So we've seen the Pro and Connect and where the tech is coming into the cart, but let's talk about some of the things that make it unique. So the number one thing I want to point out on our grain cart is this Power Master gearbox. So it doesn't look like a whole lot that's going on, but this gearbox was designed by us. And when you go look at any competitive grain cart that's a dual auger system, what you're going to see is a gearbox that's direct driving your vertical auger, and then you're going to see belts and a pulley or a chain drive that comes up here, and your unload auger or the horizontal auger inside the cart is going to be a lot higher. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring grain forwards, and it's going to drop it down into a sump. And then from there, that sump's got to pick it up and bring that grain out to unload. So what's nice on this is the gearbox will directly rotate both augers, and you have a nice flow system to be able to get it out. So this gearbox here allows you about 20% more efficiency to unload faster. It also reduces a lot of the moving parts and different things like that. So in the instance all of a sudden where you did slug this auger, you left your gates open, something like that, there is this disengage handle here. So by disengaging, this auger now will no longer move, and you can clean the cart out. Once that's done, you simply come out, pull the walk of shame handle as we call it here, re-engage that, and then you're good to go.
So Stephanie knows what that we don't have a handle like that, so it just took a lot. It was a lot of just dumping corn on the ground.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's a cool feature. All right, so what else can we talk about here?
Another thing that's really put Elmer's on the map back a couple of years ago is going to the right-hand unload auger on the cart. So I think somewhere probably 40, 50 years ago when grain carts started getting a little bit more popular, somebody decided, well, we have a 50-50 chance of putting the auger on the right side. So they, I think, threw it out the left and just said, hey, the door's on that side. That makes a lot of sense. But really, when you think about it, you're sitting in the tractor, everything's telling you to go to the right side.
Yep.
Your screens are over here, your controls are down here, you don't have to worry about bumping into somebody in the buddy seat. So ergonomically, it made a lot more sense to be looking over your right shoulder. So believe it or not, 80% of our production today goes to the right-hand auger. So it is becoming much more uncommon to see a left-hand auger out in the field.
Yeah. That I don't run grain cart. Stephanie does. Obviously, you guys know that, and that would be nice. The only thing that I've always had a concern about is like with our grain cart, we don't fold and unfold every time. So having on the right side could be an issue, you know, like that for us.
Yeah.
Right. But with that double tap there, just boom, boom, and then, you know, you're not gonna ever forget.
Yeah.
It's just a quick deal instead of sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting for it to fold, you know. So that's a handy feature.
Yeah, and the nice thing is here, all heavy linkages, so that auger is made to be folded and unfolded.
Right.
And for some reason, believe it or not, when you look at after part sales, we only sell left-hand augers, not right-hand. So I don't know if this just happens.
We
to
had
be-
a little issue with
Yeah.
a grain cart and an auger. We're not going to talk about
Yeah.
names, but yeah, that did happen this year.
So
Okay.
something else that's really unique on the cart that we have at the show here today is this has our transfer track on it. So this is the track that is available to get on a 1100 bushel or a 1300 bushel cart, and it's really designed to be moved around different implements.
This track, guys, is like, I'm 6 foot, and I mean, how high is it? It must be
This is
four
a
and half feet.
46-inch idler wheel,
40,
So-
so that's 46-inch idler deer.
and the track is 9 feet long.
Wow.
So just to give you some perspective, looking
So
at
that
the
would be
video.
better for like turning in the field and
That's
stuff
right.
like that. Like our other track on our green grain cart, it's quite long, or at least it feels longer than this. I don't know, maybe it's the height that makes it feel shorter. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you would think maybe it would turn easier.
Right, so yeah, the whole idea of the height of this track is the transferability again. So this is a standard 10-bolt egg cutout. So you could take this track off simply by undoing the lug nuts. You have pallet forks in here already. You can pull it out, you can put it on an air cart, you can put it on a liquor cart, things like
that's
that.
right, yeah.
So this cutout height is really made to match the height of a 900 metric tire. So you're trying to utilize this investment more than once a year just during harvest, right?
Huh.
And the bigger idler wheels you have, a lot less rolling resistance. So as you're
Right.
going over, you know, terraces or through pivots or anything like that,
Or even any ditch.
any ditch, anything like that, that it's being hit nice and high. So it's allowing the idler wheel to really contour over that, and it gives you a lot less rolling resistance. So believe it or not, this whole track assembly is about 6,000 pounds as a standalone.
Okay.
And had it not been hooked up to this cart, I would be able to wheel this around by hand.
That's pretty cool. That's
So
pretty cool.
Rolling resistance is minimal.
So I see we got a nice little, well, that's kind of the shovel shame or shame
That's
of
right.
something, I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's
shame
there.
shovel.
It's there in case you need it.
That's right, yeah. We've never ever had a trucker that's left the gates open. We'll
No.
always blame the truckers, not the grain cart
it's not the grain
operators.
cart guy.
And if you feel like you want to try and load the cart at number 5,
Okay.
chances are you're probably going to become pretty good friends with the shovel off the start.
So this here is interesting. Instead of having a electric pump or something like that, you guys actually have a looks like hydraulic drive.
Hydraulically driven pump, yeah.
Look at that, guys.
So from the factory, you can get this
That's
nice
pretty cool.
mounted water tank. It holds 150 US gallons. So it's not something you ever hope that you need to use, but should you
Yeah,
need to use
right.
it, it's right there.
And then the hose is right here.
Yeah, you get 50 feet of hose that's on
Wow.
this. So you actually can just leave this nozzle open. And should you ever encounter an area where you
just
have a
grab it
fire,
right away.
all you're going to be doing is just turning on your hydraulics, and this will start
Which
spraying
is
water
a
out.
a big concern in Saskatchewan and
That's
other
right.
places
Yeah.
like that where it gets really dry.
so
Well,
it-
even any certain commodities are just naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, sunflowers. It doesn't
Right.
matter where you farm. I mean, if you could save a piece of equipment, and yes, maybe you have insurance, but you know the replacement or getting stuff done on time. Why not save it?
Yeah, and reliability just by going
We're
to
actually
hydraulics.
thinking we need to build something or do something at least
Yeah.
just for now until we can get something like this. But yeah. Well, we touched on the fire hazard, the fire. What do you want to call that?
Fire suppression.
Fire suppression system, the tracks, the front end. Now we're going to talk about the paneling. And so I was asking Ben, like, what's up with all the rivets? Like, why is it, instead of a weld together cart? And this is what he said.
Yeah, so we kind of looked at this from a different perspective with the bolt together design. So the primary reason we like the bolt together is there's natural stress relief in the whole cart. So when you look at welded seams that are along here, you're going to eventually see cracking that happens. Where the bolts, you have some flex as the cart's unloading. Of course, nobody ever drives these the speed limit that we recommend in the field, so it gives you some of that options. Another really nice thing about it is if you ever did damage a panel, somebody backed into this, you hit something, they are replaceable. So the whole cart doesn't have a big dent in it or it's not written off because of that. And on the manufacturing side, what is nice is that we can actually paint both sides of this panel before we build it. So a typical competitive cart, they weld the whole thing out, they roll it through their paint booth, and they don't get good paint coverage inside the tank. So when you look inside this tank, it's got 100% coverage, and it allows crop to slide really nicely down these panels.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah.
How do I get in for easy clean out? Do you have an access door? I seen that on one of these other
That's
ones.
right. So we don't have access door on
Okay.
HM 2.0, but guess what, guys?
I got a
do have an easy access ladder on our cart. So you'll see a lot of them placed like behind the front auger or on the side of the cart. So this is a nice easy access ladder, and we even put one inside the tank, so it's nice and easy to climb over the extensions.
Okay, so like on ours, you gotta, if the auger is folded up, you can't use the ladder.
That's right.
That kind of sucks.
Yes.
But yeah, this is just fold down and up you go.
Yeah.
That is pretty nice.
And maybe you didn't see it at the front of the cart there before, but you do have a nice large pass-through window.
Yeah, right.
These are not just sort of sight glasses. So when you're sitting in the tractor cab and you look behind you, you can actually see the road behind you. It's nice to make that safe left-hand corner.
So you can see all the way through that.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is not just designed to be a sight glass. This is an actual window for visibility.
Okay, well that's, instead of using a camera,
Yeah.
which can get sketchy.
Yeah.
That. So look at this hitch, guys. Holy crap. You can pull in hydrous tanks with this thing.
So I will note,
when did you guys do this?
this has been out for probably about 6 years now. So if you
Okay.
look at the sticker here,
Yeah.
it is going to tell you that this is intended for header transport only. So
Sure.
that's what I'm going to tell you. However, there is conveniently tow rope hangers placed at the back of the cart, and I don't really know of a lot of header transport that use a pin that look like this.
Yeah. So this might be just to cover their butt a little bit, but they all know that she's pretty heavy duty.
That's right. Yeah, this is bolted directly to the main frame of the cart. So chances of you ripping that off, I'd say, are slim to none.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this was just a show deal with extra lighting, but they actually have lights that go underneath that light up the whole undercarriage.
That's right. So as
That's
these
pretty cool.
as these combine headers are getting wider and wider, it's really nice at nighttime to have this strip of ground lit up, and then you can actually see how close the track is to your combine header, because that really is not a mistake you want to make.
That's actually, it's a small little thing, but
Yeah.
that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. That's pretty cool. And oh, I see you got a digital scale here too.
So a lot of us would say right now, you know, it's usually the combine operator, the one that's writing the check for the grain cart, but he doesn't get a lot of value out of it himself. So this is the one thing that the combine operator buys for himself that he can actually use.
Yeah. Which is almost kind of getting to be an industry standard.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a nice feature. Do you have, as far as greasing, do you have an automatic grease system that you guys typically recommend, or is it an easy way to grease?
So we look at the problem with a bit of a different approach. Instead of putting an auto greaser on the cart, we go, why don't we just eliminate the need for grease points on this thing? So outside of the track system on the cart, there's only 6 grease zerks on the whole cart, and that's all for bearings that hold your flights in there. The tracks itself do have 6 grease points that are on it. So there's a grease bank up here, so all remote access for your tensioning system. There's obviously one for your oscillating hub that's over here. And then there's going to be 2 grease points that are down on your pin here. So the grease points are all accessible from the outside of the track. So you as the operator have to do no maintenance on the back of the track,
Okay.
other than just verifying that you have oil in your oil bath hubs.
Yeah. Okay. It's just clean outdoor here.
Yeah. The uniqueness on this one is the cleanout is pretty much full length, except for a few little sections that are closed off just to give the mainframe some rigidity.
Well, I think we covered it. So, hey, thanks, Ben.
It was great meeting you. Thanks for stopping by the booth.
Okay. Well, we made her back up to the Northland, and it's not any warmer. It's looking like we're gonna get one more cold snap here this week, starting tomorrow, lasting to the middle of the week. So temps will be in the 20, 30 below, up to 50, 60 below wind chills. So it could be brutally cold. It does look like it's supposed to warm up after that. When I say warm up, I mean like 28, 30 above. 28, even in the 20s would be really nice. Anyway, what I want to do here is I just want to say thanks to a couple people and a company. Thanks to Superior Grain Equipment out of North Dakota there, Josh and his team. They took Dane and I out and showed us a good time. Thanks for that, guys. And then also I'd like to thank Brad and Missy. They're from Oklahoma. Got to meet them. Dane and I ended up hanging out with them too. They showed us a good time. When we were out with Brad and Missy, we actually ran into Borderview Farms, which is Nathan and Brock. So we got a chance to visit with them. Nathan is a very, very intelligent guy. You can tell he's very analytical, fun to visit with. If you haven't checked out their channel before, it's on Borderview Farms on YouTube, obviously. One other channel that we ran into was Eric Reed. He's from way down south, does a lot of neat stuff, corn, cotton, beans, that type of thing. Best known for being on Corn Warriors. He's got a channel, it's called Crop Critic. He was a very, very down-to-earth person, very fun to talk to. Hope to stay in touch with both them channels. But on a different note, I guess, we're going to be putting together a little dryer segue, or a dryer tutorial type thing. I interviewed a bunch of manufacturers when we were down in Louisville there, and it was kind of nice because they're all in one spot, so we did an interview with each one, and we're going to do a mixed flow grain dryer type informational video, and then at the end we're going to do a breakdown and see what we think, and maybe do a little Q&A with you guys. But anyway, hope you enjoy the video. We'll see you later.